You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Well, welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 22nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local mortgage experts. It is a great day to talk about money, and that's what the show is all about, how to make money, save money, so you can have a better quality of life for you and your family. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And you can also catch us on podcast. In studio right now, so excited, we're going to have a panel conversation with BNI Northwest. We have Jenny Butts, our regional director. We have Wilma Peck, area director, and we also have Chris Noble. She is with Cabby, and she's a member of BNI, and I'm a member of BNI. So it's really special to have my BNI family here. And again, it's a panel conversation, which is really unique to the show. We don't have those very often, where it's one conversation for the entire show. And I think it was deserving because if you're in business, running a business, or you're in any type of sales, and these techniques and things that we're going to talk about are, they plug and play in life as well. We're talking about building business by building relationships. So no matter what you do in your life, it's around relationships. So welcome, all three of you.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And I love it. Again, I give Keelan a hard time when we have all girls in here except for him and Gary behind the scenes there. So it's going to be a girl conversation with a little guy too.
I can
or
hold,
a big guy.
I was going to say, geez, completely demeaning, My goodness, I can hold my own. We'll be fine.
Exactly. All right. So let's read a little bit about our three guests here. Jenny Butts is the regional director of BNI Northwest, part of the world's largest referral networking organization. Along with a team of over 25 volunteers and employees, she supports 38 chapters in the Puget Sound area, 2 chapters in the Southern California, helping members increase their business through relationship-based international word-of-mouth marketing. Jenny's background is in education to students as a high school French and English teacher, and then as a speaker to professional groups on topics like communication. She's also done a number of nonprofit fundraising events as MC and auctioneer. Oh my gosh, I could totally see you as an auctioneer, Jenny.
It's fun.
That is awesome. In all of her roles, Jenny enjoys helping people learn, grow, and serve in ways that matter. And our next guest on our panel is Wilma Peck. Wilma is a BNI area director on the East Side, supporting 9 chapters. She has also been an active member of BNI for over 14 years, representing her business, Michael's Auto Repair, located in Redmond, Washington. BNI has been a contributing factor in the growth of her business. And our last guest on the panel is Chris Noble of Cabby. And Chris is a personal stylist with a company called Cabby, which is a collection of women designing clothing, and she's been with her company for 16 years. Her passion is for helping women feel confident and beautiful by guiding them to the best clothing option for their body types and style expressions. She works with women in their homes by bringing in clothing line to show them and their friends. And by the way, I am hosting one at my house in March. So if you want to know more about it, hang out with your host at my house, give the show a call, and I definitely will give you a private an invite to our little private party. Having come into her boutique with her personal styling session, so that's what the in-home is all about. Chris has been married to a wonderful guy for almost 5 years and has 4 grown children and 5 grandchildren. She loves traveling, cooking, gardening, reading, and wine tasting. Oh, and she loves shoes. Lots and lots of shoes. Something no one knows about Chris, she jumped out of a perfectly good airplane when she was 18 years old. It was terrifying and a blast all at the same time. My gosh, Chris, I don't know that about you. And we're in the same BNI chapter. We need to have another one-to-one.
Yes, we do.
And we'll hear all about that.
Yeah, I can tell you.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
I can show you my face.
Oh yeah, I would love to see your face. That would be so awesome. All right, so So let's go ahead and get into, well, Keelan, I'm trying to take your first spot here.
That's
you
okay.
asked the
That's
first
okay.
question.
Let's get Jenny involved in the conversation. Start out right on the surface here. What is BNI and how did it get started, Jenny?
A lot of people around here don't know what BNI is. It started in Southern California in the 1980s. There was a business consultant named Dr. Ivan Meisner who had lost his biggest client and needed to get that business back again and realized that he could try direct mail, he could try radio, he could try all kinds of advertising, but most of his business had come from relationships and word of mouth marketing. So he gathered the best of all of the people from each individual industry, and they just met weekly to give referrals to each other and help each other increase their business.
And what a great way to build business. And again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, I'm a member of a BNI chapter, and it meant so much to me to be the best possible member that I could. I took on a director consultant role, and I have a lot of high level activity things that I do, and there is only so much time in the day. So when I take something on, it has to mean a lot to me, and BNI definitely does. So I would love for you to share. I know the answer to this. That's why I chose BNI, but I'd love for you to share what's the difference with BNI when it comes to other networking groups or the Chamber of Commerce and things like that.
Well, I'm glad you know the answer since you're on my team.
Yes.
That means that
I better know the answer.
You're well trained. That's excellent.
Thank you,
Good to
Jenny.
know. Yeah. One of the best benefits of being in a BNI chapter is the exclusive marketing that you get. When you would go to a Chamber of Commerce, and both you and Keelan are great examples of this, you may probably find other mortgage brokers who are at a Chamber of Commerce. And so everyone is going to those things to sell themselves, but very few people say, I hope I meet some mortgage broker at the Chamber of Commerce because I really need someone to refinance my loan.
Yes.
And so the exclusive marketing rights in a BNI chapter mean that there will only be one mortgage broker, one realtor, one cabbie style consultant, one person for each industry. So everybody in that group is driving all the business for that industry to one person. And that's something unlike any other organization. And it's every week, being in front of the same people, building relationships, educating a sales force that you could never afford to hire because at $85 a month or so as a membership, you just can't hire very many people for that.
Absolutely.
I love the leverage of that. You know, the thicker your Rolodex, the group that you have, the more value that you could bring to other people.
For sure.
And you know these people are going to do a good job and represent you well. And so that just, I mean, you have a bigger impact in the community, thus bringing more success to you and your business. I mean, Jenny, speaking of values, either adding value or living by value, how does BNI incorporate this into their networking model?
Well, we talk a lot in our chapter meetings and on our director team. We talk a lot about the 7 core values that are foundational for BNI. And we find that they're not only foundational for running a business as a networking group, but they're foundational in our own businesses. One of our core values is accountability. And we find that the way you do one thing is probably how you do everything. And so if you're going to show up at our meeting every week and you'll be fully engaged, fully prepared, and present for that meeting, that means I can refer you to my client base with confidence because you'll probably represent yourself the same way. And by being, like you're saying, you're meeting these people who you refer business to. And if I see you every week, you better not mess up with my clients
Yes.
because I'm going to see you next week and I'm going to say, dude, what happened?
Exactly.
And it's a high level of accountability, but that's also how we do business because you don't want someone who's a flake who may or may not show up, who may or may not call you back. We want people who are accountable. And so there's a high level of credibility by living the values in our chapters as well as in our businesses.
So true. So, Jenny, our topic today is building your business by building relationships. What are some of the important aspects of relationships that come into play with business?
Well, one of our core values is building relationships. So it's very, very important to our organization. But when you are sitting in a meeting week by week, and you know this, Tina, because you are doing this, you are building a relationship and you're learning things about people that make your referrals and your conversations with potential clients far more organic.
Yes.
To just say, oh my gosh, of course, I know somebody who rides motorcycles too, and she also happens to sell insurance. Do you need someone to write your insurance? And so building those relationships is a way of transferring one person's credibility to a stranger. So if I represent myself well and I have good credibility and I trust the person I have relationship with in my BNI chapter, that means the person I refer them to trusts them because they trust me.
Yes.
And so we transfer that credibility because we've built relationships. You can't walk into a room and say, hey, I sell insurance. And people can say, great, sign me up right now. It takes time to build the credibility. And then I'm able to have conversations with people who aren't in the room on behalf of everybody else in my chapter.
Yes.
Because I've built solid relationships.
Yes.
You know, thinking about it, anything great as far as an individual or business owner has been introduced to me in my life. If you really think about it, you're not just going to walk down, oh, this place looks cool, and you walk by the storefront. It's all about those relationships. So
For
that's
sure.
huge.
Well, and I always say being a connector is the best gift that we can give because
Totally.
we're connecting people not just in friendships, but we're actually connecting people in relationships. Well, not just business partners, but friendships and relationships. They get married, they have kids. I mean, all of these amazing things come from those connections. And so when you're an organization like BNI, where you really have this whole group of people that you're becoming great friends with, and you're getting these connections started because you're connecting them with your clients and people you know.
I couldn't agree more. Well said, Tina.
It's how we change the way the world does business. That's our tagline.
Yes.
Because it's about relationships, not transactions.
Yes.
That's huge. So how does BNI specifically help its members in those areas that you just referred to?
Well, we provide structure. What I have discovered kind of accidentally is how great BNI is for introverts. When we think of networking, we think of a very extroverted person who can walk into a room of 50 people and just start chatting it up effortlessly with everybody. And that's me. I love doing that, so it's worked great for me. But because it's so structured, BNI helps people walk into the relationships with some preparation and with some tools so that they're not just going, what do I say? How do I talk about my business? And we help them educate their referral partners within the chapter so that they know how to tell people, this is what you should listen for, this is what you should look for, so that I can make a very natural referral and increase my fellow members' businesses in an organic way.
Yeah, and the structure is so important. And you either have people that don't like structure, which means they're not running a high efficiency, high successful business model. You cannot unless you have structure. And they're not going to be the best fit for BNI, and that is totally fine. Or you have business professionals that want to take their game to the highest, level up, and really have that accountability and that structure. And just like you've already said, which is so interesting because it's so true, but I think a lot of people may not see this, that everything that we do in BNI is exactly what we should be doing in our business. And I think I run a really high efficiency business model. I mean, I coach on it. I'm an industry leader in my mortgage space. I have multiple companies that I have. But until I joined BNI, I've never actually dialed into it at this high of a level because every single week, just as you said, it is all focused on that structure. And so, I just feel really blessed. Dan Wingard, if you're listening to my show today, I want to give a shout out because Dan Wingard is the one that invited me to BNI. And now I'm just over a year, so under 2 years in, and it's been a huge benefit to my business and to me personally. So, and I want to give, Jenny, we're going to talk with Wilma here in just a little bit, but I want to thank both of you that were online here. And it's actually going to bring a tear to my eye for a second because all the work and everything that you guys do behind the scenes for this organization, it's a lot. And I know speaking from a director consultant role, which I just took on, there's a lot of stuff. And so I just want to give a shout out and a thank you for both of you for the support that you are to me and to every single member that you oversee.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I like it.
So on that note, we're actually going to take us to a commercial break, and we're going to come back with our continued conversation right here with our panel of representation from BNI Northwest. We have Jenny Butts, the regional director, Wilma Peck, the area director, Chris Noble of CABI, and a BNI member right here at 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 22nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
You're a local mortgage experts. We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint, one week and one show at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but we're here to connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And you can also catch our show on podcast. In studio, our continued conversation, which is our conversation for the entire show. We are talking all about with a panel of BNI Northwest representatives. We have Jenny Butts, which is our regional director, and Wilma Peck, our area director of BNI Northwest. And we have Chris Noble of CABI, who is a member of BNI. Today, we're having a conversation around building business and building relationships.
Well, Jenny, as much as we love you and we could talk to you all day, we do have a couple more members here with us today, do we not?
Yes, we do. I brought strategic people with me today.
Good work.
Yes, and you've heard already a little bit about them. I just want to brag on them for a moment as an introduction, if I could.
Yes,
Perfect.
Wilma has saved my bacon more times than I can count since I took this position a couple of years ago. She has a rich, long history with BNI and also being on a team directing and helping to support chapters. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited about the experience that she brings. Chris has been a BNI member for a long time, too, and she was in a chapter with me, and she's in your chapter. We all have been part of Plateau Partners, and she has been such a great energy. She is also my CABI representative.
My CABI representative, too.
And I'll be having a party in April. So if you don't get to go to Tina's, you can come to my party.
You can come to mine, and I'll come to yours.
Yes, let's do it.
Or you could go to both.
Yes, let's do it.
Exactly.
Let's do it. So I am bringing people I respect and have great affection for, and they are not only wonderful people, but they are also exemplary BNI members.
Yeah. What a great introduction. Wilma, let's go ahead and ask a few questions for you. What has been your involvement on top of what Jenny has shared with BNI?
Tina, it started out about 14 years ago when I actually went and visited a chapter. And it's funny because at that chapter, Chris was in the chapter that I visited. It was not Plateau Partners. It was Prospecting Professionals. And it couldn't have happened at a better time. When I went to this chapter, we had just moved our business. So we had these lot larger expenses than what we were anticipating, and I didn't know how we were going to make rent, how we were going to make payroll, what was I going to do. And BNI kind of fell into my lap, and I went to Prospecting Professionals, and there was Chris, the visitor host. And I looked at her and I went, wow.
Yeah.
I joined this group. Can I look like you? She said, yes, actually you could.
Yeah. And you wear her clothes all the time.
I do.
Yes.
She does look like her now.
She
So
does.
anyway, that's just kind of a little offside story. But so I've been in BNI for 14 years. I could not imagine running a business without having a team of BNI members behind you. For the last 7 years, I've actually wanted to jump in and actually give back to BNI because they have given my company so much, and I'm going to get teary-eyed, but I really wanted to give back. So I have kind of followed the chain of command. I was an ambassador for a couple of years and went to a support director consultant for a couple of years, and now I've had the opportunity to work under Jenny as an area director, and I absolutely love it. I love working with other members in the other chapters, hearing their stories, watching their successes, just being there for them, educating them, and just helping them connect the dots of BNI, because it's just, it does take a lot of perseverance just to be a good member, and I just love it. And I just, it's just a great way for a business owner or an entrepreneur to really get their hands around taking their business to the next step.
Yeah, and if you're listening to the show, it's not just because we're a bunch of women, well, Keelan too, that you've heard us talk about having a little bit of tears, but it is BNI. It's the organization. It's the people that you meet. It's being able to go there every week. And as Jenny talked about, the system and the process of each of the meeting, and always feeling that we're continuing to level up our business. And so, yeah, that's why it's, I think, people that are really invested in it. And Wilma, I have a side note here that I want to ask you. Why? Because I know how much time it takes to do what you do. I see it firsthand. Why do you do that? Why are you so committed to the other side of BNI, which you don't have to do? I mean, you're a member of a chapter, but you've taken on this whole nother role as the area director.
It is actually twofold. Number one, like I said, I love helping members grow their businesses and watching them have those successes. Because we see a lot of entry-level businesses. We see a lot of brand new entrepreneurs, and that could be a very scary place to be. So not only do I do it for that reason, but I also do it because it helps me as an individual. It helps me keep growing. The education we receive both in person and also through our online training is just invaluable. We get so much information. In fact, I was on a call today with Jenny, and she was talking about something that we're going to be rolling out starting next week. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I could use this right now in my business. And I was writing everything down. And so it's just that ongoing, it's like having that constant coach, and not just because I'm in a leadership position, but even in your own chapter, you're constantly being coached by your members and helped. And
yeah, and because one of the members that was at our roundtable, she specifically said, "I just love that I get to come to these roundtable every month. It's like I'm going to a conference that I don't have to pay for. I'm getting all of this free education, and it is so awesome to hear that." I was so excited because that's exactly what BNI is. Love it.
Wilma, can you elaborate and give us some specifics on how you've seen it help members' businesses?
Yes. So what I like about BNI is you see these members come in, and a lot of them still have these big eyes. They maybe have just brand new entrepreneurs. They've just started their business, and they're kind of up here. And then the reality sets in, and you kind of have that J curve, and they start kind of coming down to reality. It's like, oh my gosh, how am I going to pay my bills? Where am I going to get my business from? And it gets a little scary. And that's where BNI comes in. They hit that rough patch, and all of a sudden you feel alone, helpless, and like you just don't know where to turn. And so in BNI, the member actually has an opportunity every week to come in and use BNI as a platform to actually showcase their business weekly with a structured agenda. And then with that, they actually have the opportunity to ask for referrals. They have an opportunity to thank the people that have given them referrals and thank them for that business. And then they also have an opportunity to go out and not only tell the members what they need, but these they have like a tribe of 35 people strong that go out and look for business for them every single week. What a great feeling that is, being a brand new entrepreneur, that you've got people out there helping you build your business. One thing that we all are very prideful of is that, we as business owners, we all have goals, and sometimes it's so exciting to help another member achieve his goals in his business. Sometimes we can have the best referral, and it's so exciting to go to BNI because all you want to do is pass that perfect referral to someone that they asked for, that dream referral that you don't even mind not getting business that day. It's just about helping that other person. It's just kind of that mentality that we have in BNI. So it's just a great way to go and ask for referrals and just getting that support of those 35 other members.
Yeah, and it's a couple things that you mentioned there. It's really key in the process. Two of the core values are accountability and recognition. And so we're all really accountability for taking on this position because there's one seat. So if you are a mortgage professional, which I actually don't take the mortgage seat in my chapter, I take the time management business efficiency because mortgage goes away in a heartbeat. Oh, just a shout out. If you do, we're going to talk about it a little bit later. But if you are a mortgage person, the reason the seat's taken first is because it is it's so easy to support that. So there's ways to start your own chapter. We'll talk about that probably later in the show. But that everybody is responsible to be bringing in business for each other, you as well as all of those 20 or 30 other members that are within your group there. And so it's really, really powerful. So Wilma, how has BNI helped you professionally in your business?
So it has helped me tremendously. The first one I can think of is I remember having to stand up and do my first 8-minute presentation at BNI. I was scared. I was shaking. I went to go open my mouth and nothing came out. I about cried in front of everybody. It was just like, oh my God. Nothing came out. It was horrible. So that's the first thing that it's helped me with. It's helped me feel confident in talking in front of people and doing public speaking. It has also helped me with my goal planning within my own business. It's helped me with my leadership development. It's helped me with my business skills, my sales training within the corporation. It gives me ongoing education, and and let's face it, I'm I need to make money too. So it's really helped me. There's days or weeks that we have in our business where I'm like, wow, it's a BNI week. Everybody's cars are in here. So it's just helped me so much. And it's just given me, probably the most important thing is it's given me a team of people that number one, it makes me look like a rock star because I'm able to refer these people out to my clients. So I now become the person that knows everybody. But it has also helped me when I was struggling and I was told you need to get a new accounting system. I'm like, and then there's someone in the room that says, I can help you with that. Or you need to get, you really need to keep your employees. You need to start offering health insurance. Oh, we've got someone here that can do that. So that not only that did they help me with business for my business, but they helped me help my business grow in that manner, just taking it to the next level professionally.
When people know that when in your business, when people know that you are the person that they need to know to connect them with the people that they need to know, that is powerful. And so when you have that power partner group that you can tell your clients, anybody that you need, I'm your person. I can get you hooked up with the best of the best.
So it
and
gets
that's
to the
a really
point where
great
they don't
place.
want to lose us.
Well, they don't.
They don't because they don't want to lose those connections. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I love about that? When I cut the cord from a 9 to 5, that's a transition. And if you have somewhere to go, like a powerful group of people like BNI, week in and week out to support you and move your business forward successfully, and just that camaraderie alone is invaluable. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Wilma, share with us a success story, if I could say that word.
Success
story.
is hard.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough one. Do you have like a story that sticks out in your mind that really affected you with BNI?
Oh boy. I'm going to think of a real current one right now, and I'm going to shout out to one of our members in my personal chapter. And I remember meeting her. She joined our chapter a year ago. But I think that's what you're wanting as a success story of somebody.
Please.
She started. She's young. She's an entrepreneur. She had all the dreams in the world, and she was starting her own business. But she was still fresh. She was still going to college. She was still working full time as a bartender and trying to start this business. And her idea was to get herself an Airbnb and start promoting it. She now, a year into it, she no longer has to work another job, but she has so many Airbnbs now. She's like one of the 5-star, and she's going around the whole country training people on how to do what she does. So she's kind of like changing the way everybody does Airbnb across the country, which is amazing.
Wow.
But this all happened through our chapter where people were like, oh, here, I've got a client that has a house that would love to put it up for an Airbnb. So it was just, she's so young. She's in her 20s.
Wow.
And she is so successful. So that to me is just a huge success story.
And you see that all the time from a new member that comes in, and you'd mentioned coming, you may think of it as a commercial, BNI calls it a presentation, but where you have 30 seconds, 40 seconds, depending on how large your chapter is, that every single week you come in and you can see people coming in and that have been in business for a long time, but they're not used to giving that 30-second elevator speech or commercial that you may heard of it. And you see them there. And then after they've been doing it for 3-6 months and they're just nailing it, and you can see the confidence that they're coming in with the room because now they've leveled themselves up to that natural conversation that we're having on a daily basis with people about our business, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, great conversation that we're having here with our BNI panel. If you have any questions for our guests, you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150, or you can go online at themoneyhour.com. Coming up next, building business and building relationships. Continue conversation with our BNI panel, Jenny Butts, the regional director, Wilma Peck, the area director of BNI Northwest, and we have Chris Noble of Cabby, a member of BNI, right here on 1150 AM KKNW after this short break.
You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
Welcome back to The Money Hour on 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, February 22nd show. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I'm your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are your local mortgage experts. We bring in studio each week the best of the best, and everything regarding financing in our local market. We're here to help you in today's economy. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We can connect you with the guests that we have on the show. Please call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. You can also catch us on a podcast. In studio for the entire show. I'm so sad that we're getting to our last segment. We're going to have to say goodbye. We have Jenny Butts is the Regional Director of BNI, Wilma Peck, the Area Director of BNI, and Chris Noble of Cabby, a member of BNI. Today we're having a conversation and a BNI panel on building business and building relationships.
So, Chris, let's get you involved in this conversation. I know your business is very different than Wilma's. What has BNI done for you specifically in your business?
Yes, it is very much different from Wilma's. So I'm a personal stylist with Cabby, which is, as Tina mentioned, it's a clothing company, women's designer clothing. And I actually started my business in 2004. Helped to charter a chapter in 2005. So what that means is I was one of the founding members of the Prospecting Professionals chapter that Wilma mentioned, and it's along with 3 other people. So there was the mortgage broker, the realtor, and the financial planner, and then me, the Cabby stylist. So it was huge for me. I had no idea what I was doing. Wilma alluded to the fact that many times when you're a new entrepreneur, you have no idea what you're doing. And that was me. No idea, clueless. And how am I going to get this business going after I had been a stay-at-home mom for 16 years? So I was like, okay, I'm going to start my new business. How am I going to do this? Mm-hmm. So it was such a blessing to me when I was invited to join this chapter and to help launch it. And I'm telling you guys, there was nothing like having the support of the local, not just the people that were in my chapter as we grew, but the support of the regional the regional people, the Jenny Buttses and the Wilma Pecks of the world at that time. And so I got my business started. At one point in time, I haven't done the numbers recently, I've been in BNI 13 out of the last 15 years that I've been in business. Wow. And at one point in time, for many years, my revenue, 50% of my revenue was coming from BNI referrals. That's huge.
Yes.
I mean, if you were to talk to other BNI members, I don't know that there are very many that could say that. But, I mean, that's incredible.
Wow.
So, yeah. And to this day, I mean, I still work with all kinds of clients, and they've become dear friends because Cabby is also very much about building relationships. That's how we do business, is building credibility, like Jenny was talking about.
And any successful business, it's all around the relationships.
It's all about building relationships, yes. So, and I still have relationships with those women that I started back in 2005 with BNI.
And, you know, when you talk about the business and the opportunities that come from it with those introductions that you're receiving, once you have that introduction and you build that, it's a lot of businesses, it's continued business because they're coming back or, you know, that residual income part of it. So on top of how it's increased your revenue and your bottom line for your company, what other benefits do you personally see, Chris, from being a BNI member?
Friendships. So being part of that community. It's, you know, as a solopreneur working from home and as an extrovert needing to get out and be with people so that I can feed my soul and build my energy level. Going to my chapter meetings, I just look forward to it every week because I got to see my people. I got to see my friends, the people that helped to support me in my business, and also the people that I got to help support in their business, because BNI is so much about we call it giver's gain, right? So it's about how can I help you be successful in your business. And so just that that kind of synchronicity that happens, is that the right word? I'm not even sure.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. Yeah,
Does it sound good?
Yep.
Obviously, that means Keelan and I don't know.
Just I'm helping you, you're helping me, and just the feelings that are generated there as we're there to support each other. It's just really, really huge. And also, like Wilma was saying, you know, becoming a better speaker, being more comfortable standing up in front of a room, speaking with people, doing something like this. I mean, 16 years ago, before BNI, I would have been like, are you kidding? Never going on the radio.
So we've talked about benefit of building your business, benefit of stepping up your game through having a process and a system that's followed every week in and week out, continued education, which, by the way, you don't have to invest any money in because it's part of your membership, building friendships, and through friendships is having people when you're down, they're there to help make sure that they pick you back up because you have that relationship. That's a lot of benefits from one organization.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Chris, how can I mean, clearly this is an awesome organization. So how can I find out more about BNI chapter, maybe starting my own group or possibly, pursuing this great support system that you guys have?
Well, it's funny that you should ask, Keelan.
Why do I feel like that's loaded?
Talking to me about becoming a launch director.
Oh, yeah. Well, because everybody in the room, because Keelan's not a part of BNI yet. He's, there's a lot of things that he's doing in building his business in areas. And so he's not a BNI member yet. But everybody here is some type of support role outside of you, Chris. So I think it's time that you step into that.
Oh, did I just say yes?
You brought it up, so I thought I would just be.
They can go. So obviously the website, the local website is bninorthwest.com, bninw.com. Or bni.com. So those are, you can go there to get a lot of information. Certainly they could call Jenny directly or Wilma and find out more information about what the local chapters are. But I just highly encourage people to, at the very least, go to the website and find out where there's a chapter in your area that you can go see. And I always suggest that people go to visit several different chapters because each chapter has its own personality.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got to find a chapter where your seat, your category, your business is not represented already. But go check out a bunch of different chapters and find out what's going to be a really good fit for you.
Yeah, and I'm so excited about BNI, and I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm in the process of opening a TM Media Agency because I've had my show for a decade, and I've had 3 shows that I've actually started because of my Dan Edwards being one of them. And so the studio, Hubbard Radio, is giving me a discount on shows, and so we're going to run an agency. Everything is plug and play that we have, and I think people are really nervous about what do you even do to start a radio/podcast show. So I'm going to be eventually hiring in the next few months somebody to represent TM Media Agency and BNI be a BNI member. I'm hoping they're going to come hang out with me at Plateau Partners. But anyway, so that's how much I believe in BNI. I'm starting a new role because I know being in BNI that role is going to be able to take off at a very high level. So Chris, let's talk about a success story that you could share with us today.
So I was thinking about a personal. I've had lots of personal success stories. I'll share one. So in the Prospecting Professionals, the first chapter that I was in, we had. I think that the chapter is probably half women, and one of our members, she would host a cabbie show, and a few people would show up, and she got it in her mind that she was going to challenge the other women in the room at the chapter meetings. And so she got up one day and she said, when she was doing her presentation, she said, I'm having a cabbie show with Chris Noble, and I invite you all to come, and I promise you that when you have your own cabbie show, I will come too. And I challenge all of you women to do the same thing. And so that was one of the biggest things, one of the biggest blessings that she ever did for me. It was just such a cool thing that she did. And all the women in the chapter jumped right on board. And that's how my business just took off.
Great success story.
It was a huge success story for me. But I could tell so many more.
I know. All of us could.
I'm going to ask you my favorite question because the most important thing to any business owner is your why. So it could be business, it could be personal. Why? What is your why, Chris? I'm just curious.
My why is what I shared initially. I just love helping women to feel beautiful. And so picture this. A woman is standing in front of the mirror And, she's coming in the door and she might be feeling a little schlumpy and she might be, not standing super tall. Her eyes might be a little dull. But once I put her into that outfit that makes her look amazing and she stands in front of the mirror, she's standing taller, her eyes are sparkling, she's got a huge smile on her face, and her energy level is just totally changed. That's my why.
Love it. Great why.
I love that. I have a saying. You look at. It's not my saying. I think it was a wide receiver, Deion Sanders or something. He said, "Look good, feel good, play good, get paid good."
Oh, that is good.
Right, and
that
it's
is
so
good.
true.
Good.
Yeah,
That's
you can
very
steal that
true.
one. You can Google it. I'm sure. I forgot who said
Yeah.
it, but I love it because it's true. If you feel good, you perform better. You just feel good about yourself. You have that confidence. You have that swag. You can go control a room because you feel good about yourself, and
Yep.
that's different for every person. So that's a magical gift that you're giving people, Chris. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I love it.
So as we're wrapping up our time here today, I'd love to just end with you, Jenny. And Wilma shared a success. Chris has shared a success. What success could you share with our listeners today?
Well, I don't know if I would call it a success, but I do think it's a radical transformation that a white-haired old lady can be learning something completely new in her life. My background's in education. I was a high school teacher. And so after our son was born and I was a stay-at-home mom for a while, I went back to tutoring, and my boss said, "You clearly are an extrovert and you get up early. I see the timestamp on your emails. Why don't you come to this meeting for me? Because I don't like to get up that early." So I went into the Plateau Partners and I was a member there for 6 years. And for the first 3 years, I represented this tutoring company, Pacific Learning Academy. Shout out to Kirsten O'Malley, who changed my life. And after that first 3 years, I met such strategic and competent, encouraging people that they encouraged me to start my own business. And so I had already somebody in the group who could make my business cards, a videographer who could do a speaker reel. I had a business coach that I hired. I had somebody to design a website. I had everything I needed so I could take Kirsten to lunch and say, "I have time and energy to pursue your dreams or mine, and I choose mine."
Yeah.
And every entrepreneur gets it.
Yes.
And so I started my own business, and I was just there to be in front of one person who hired MCs and auctioneers for auctions. And I said, I just need to be there every week to say, "Don't forget, Jenny Butts does this. Don't forget, Jenny Butts does this."
Yes.
And I only have a business because of that. And then this opportunity came, and I am able to go, "Oh, I'm still a teacher, but it's for grown-ups. Oh, I still get to be on stage, and it's for business people." And it's all of the things I used to do and have been preparing me to do the thing I'm doing now to help other people thrive. So it's been great.
And what a great success story, Jenny. And I've had the pleasure of seeing you rock the stage in front of hundreds of people when you're talking about BNI and what it has to offer. And you're definitely the right person to do that because you are full of enthusiasm, and her signature is an enthusiastic.
Enthusiastically.
Yes. Yeah, enthusiastically. So perfect to rock that stage. Well, Keelan and I would like to thank all of you for being here today. It was a really, really special show talking about BNI Northwest. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
you.
Tina. Thanks, Kaylin.
Any more information that you want on becoming a BNI member, first visiting the many chapters that we have here in the Northwest, you can reach out to the show anytime at 1-855-400-1150 or go online to themoneyhour.com or bninw.com and pick up the chapter that you want to come visit, or as Chris suggested to visit many so you can see where your family and where you best connect. This is your host, Tina Mitchell.
And your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
Your local mortgage expert signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We will be here, same time, same place, next weekend, right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW.